You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Excited you could join me today for part one of our weekend house calls. So many great questions were answered last week. Really excited. We reached our 2,000 question mark. So excited to be able to share that with you. Over 2,000 questions answered on our Saturday and Sunday house calls. Excited about that. Happy to be able to have answered 2,000 community questions. But also, I'll let you know this. We have at least probably, I would say, 100 questions or so come in per week at cabralsupportgroup.com. That's our free private Facebook group that is literally, you could join it today. And if you're not a member, we would love you to come on over. Feel free to support others. You don't need to ask a question, but it's great just to offer your advice because we're open to everyone's advice there, as well as just join the group. We ask questions in the group. We ask for your advice sometimes about new upcoming products that we want to create for you, such as a really healthy snack bar or new flavors of our daily nutritional support shake. So a lot of fun things going on over there. And just, again, that's like another 5,000 questions a year answered there. So I would say between email, Instagram, like all these different places, hopefully we're able to get to somewhere around 10,000 questions or so per year. I think that's probably a number that we're at right now. And so this is our job. This is our mission. This is our goal as health practitioners, is that, everyone on my team has overcome something, right? They've overcome whether it's a nutrition or body image or health or whatever it might be, some type of condition that they can offer some advice to you. And my goal, of course, is to get you then to understand that you have something to offer to someone as well. So when you learn something, whether it be nutrition or for children or adults or whatever it might be, is that you're able to then share what you learned with them. That's what it's all about. And let's, really, what we need to do is understand that the only thing that we can do, that the most important thing that we can do is start to take control of our own health. Don't give your health away to your PCP or someone that you see once a year and they offer a pharmaceutical-based remedy for you. Sometimes it's needed, and I'm not preaching against that. But if you're dealing with a chronic-based health issue, okay, not a congenital type of issue or nothing like that, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is if you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, you have migraines, you have skin conditions, you have anything, right? Any chronic issue that you're dealing with, please don't medicate away it. Here's why. Because it's going to pop up again in the future. And it might pop up as a different dis-ease in the body. And what I don't want you to do is live a life of suffering. There's not a point to that. And the reason is that you get to live the life, the best life that you can. It might not be perfect, but the best life that you can. And it should hopefully be one of health, and it should be one of vitality, and being able to look back in your life with no regrets and saying, great, I did my best, right? And I got the most out of this body and this life. My goal is this, is that we're going to answer so many questions for you in these weekend house calls, but you can also just go to stephencabral.com/podcast and type in any keyword you have. And also, I am one reference point. I also reference other books that you can read and all sorts of things that you can do. The main goal is that we get you the information that you need for a friend, a loved one, for yourself, that you learn it and that you pass it on to someone else. So that's what it's all about. I appreciate you tuning in today, and let's get right into that first question. First question is from Anonymous. Anonymous is asking, I listened to episode 760 on how to destroy viruses. I finished the CBO protocol a couple weeks ago, and I moved to the CBO finisher. I eat so well. I've eliminated alcohol over the years. I do have 1 cup of decaf some mornings, and I cut down on dark chocolate a couple times a week. I abide by your Cabral Daily Protocol. I'm still getting outbreaks of herpes simplex virus 2 every 3 months. I'm fortunate because they aren't very painful and they heal within 4 to 5 days. However, it makes me a paranoid mess. I am cleaning the bathroom enough. How contagious is it? What about my toddler starts potty training? How do you help clients get past these paranoias? If there are outbreaks still every 3 months, what's next? The organic acids test, even though I completed the CBO. An absolute gratitude for your work. Always, Anonymous. Okay, So let's answer your question. Okay, so let me just go back. So the list of the podcast and viruses, they finished the CBO. All right, so what I would like you to do now, if you did the CBO protocol and you did the CBO finisher, you're doing great, right? So let's do this. Let's continue on with the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol that you're doing. Let's use the daily omega support as a nice natural anti-inflammatory. But let's also get you on the products that help to balance that immune system of yours. So if you're getting them every 3 to 4 months, well, you're doing better than a lot of people that are getting them once a month. So you're already doing a little bit better. What we need to do is get rid of the triggers, for sure the dark chocolate, for sure the alcohol. A lot of these, again, I've spoken about them before, the high arginine foods and the foods that can also feed viruses. So of course, we don't want to do a lot of sugars as well. When I need you to do those, implement a lot of those products that we talked about with how to destroy viruses. I want you to implement the zinc. I want you to implement the vitamin C. I want you to look at the different things I recommended on that show, and I want you to use those on a daily basis. I want you to use them on a daily basis so much so that your outbreaks go from every 3 to 4 months to every 7 to 8 months, and then eventually once a year, and then eventually no longer. So that's what I want you to look at. I want you to look at the L-lysine. And again, I gave you all the recommendations on that show, and we've been very successful with them. I would like you to work the process, but I have a second part to this, right? Very important second part to this, because it's not just about nutritional supplements and it's not just about food. A lot of people, they get their outbreaks when their body's most stressed. Think about it. When you put alcohol in your body, it actually stresses the body. It makes it a little bit more acid. People don't understand the acid alkaline. When your body actually gets in a state of more stress, it actually produces more acids. That means waste. We're not just talking about pH, we're talking about waste, okay? That's harder on the liver as well. What I want you to do is also work on meditation, hatha yoga, getting to bed earlier, taking Epsom salt baths. Very, very important, because you might find that your outbreaks coincide with your stress and not with anything else in your life. So check that out, Anonymous. Amanda's up next. Hi, Dr. Ball. Thank you for your amazing podcast. Motivation Mondays are my favorites. Thank you, Amanda. They're my favorites too. They really are. I was wondering if you could clear something up for me. I keep reading conflicting articles about intermittent fasting. The main concern I have is it could throw female hormones out of balance. What are your thoughts about this? Thank you, Amanda. All right, Amanda, I've actually answered this question many, many times, but yes, you're absolutely right. So I love intermittent fasting. I believe 99% of people, now there's always that 1%, right? Those 1% of people who are hypoglycemic. They're dealing with adrenal-based issues, and they drop into low blood sugar, and so they might need a snack right before bed of some protein or some fat or both. And that will help better stabilize blood sugar. A handful of nuts. Very, very simple, right? Chew them up well. But here's the deal. Most people, though, should go from 7 o'clock at night to 7 in the morning. They should do 12 hours, or 8 at night to 8 in the morning, or 6 at night to 6 in the morning. Probably the earlier, the better. The closer to sunrise, or I should say sunset, the better. So that's great for 99% of people. Now, the issue is a lot of people are hearing this 16-8. Okay, 16-8, 16-8. They get all excited about that. Well, for many, many women, what happens is this. When you go from dinner the night before to lunch the next day without that breakfast, it can increase stress hormones. Why? Because you told your body there's no food. I try to explain this to other, the gurus telling that everybody should do till lunch. It's not true. You're telling your body, listen, you ran out of food. There's no food this morning. Okay, your body still needs glucose. There's no way you're running on ketones by that point if you have a normal diet. So what does it do? Well, it looks to break down liver glycogen, right? Because that's even if you're in ketosis. If your body needs a short-term fuel source, this is what a lot of keto people miss, is that your body will find a way for that short-term fuel source to make up for the glycogen reserves. All it needs to do is increase cortisol. First, norepinephrine, okay? That increases heart rate. It gets the blood pressure higher. It constricts arteries. And then, or it can actually vasodilate. It can increase circulation, I should say. And then what happens? Well, then catecholamines begin to produce. And when cortisol begins to rise, what does it do? Well, it says we need sugar. It will break down liver glycogen, or it can actually break down muscle tissue. Now you start to lower metabolism in that way, because your body will easily take glucose from stored muscle tissue as well as amino acids for fuel. Now, the second part to that is probably 9 out of 10 cases are in women, but probably definitely 1 case is in men. I just see 9 out of 10 for women in my practice, and I see this quite a bit because we do so much thyroid adrenal hormone testing. And again, if anyone wants to prove me right or wrong, all you need to do is your intermittent fasting and then run a thyroid adrenal hormone. You'll see if it's proper for you or not. So that's the thing, is that a lot of women, though, start to go low thyroid, hypothyroid, TSH increases above 2.5 or at least above 2. Well, that's that. And then hormone starts to begin to balance. I have spoken about this in depth before, and of course, I'll be talking about it more in depth on future podcasts. And sum this up, most people do great from 7 o'clock to 7 in the morning, maybe even 8 in the morning like I do. And that's great. And then the longer ones, well, we have to be more careful with those. Okay. Sean's up next. Sean said, "Hi, I listened to your podcast on the health benefits of a 12-hour fast. Dr. Cabral said herbal teas were fine to drink during the fast. My question is, can you use stevia with tea during the fast, or should you stay away from it as well? Thanks." Okay, some people are more susceptible to any sweet taste than others. Stevia does seem, in all of the research, to be one of the absolute best, if not the best, out there for a zero-calorie, zero-sugar sweetener. Not an advocate of sugar alcohol. I'm not an advocate of sucralose. And then, of course, raw honey and natural maple syrup would actually have glucose, although not a lot, and certainly take you out of a fast. If I was looking for the benefits of a fast, and I wanted to do something besides water, and this is meaning it's not just hypothetical, this is actually what I do, I would do ginger tea with no stevia. That's what I would do. The ginger helps as an Ayurvedic warmer, which also helps with increasing pitta, which helps with detoxification, and decreases ama, which is toxins, because it brings heat to cold. So that's absolutely what I would do. And I would not use the stevia. That's my recommendation, because again, I don't know your sensitivity to it. Some people taste sweet, and then all of a sudden it makes them crave more food. Or it can actually change blood sugar, because it can change the actual brain chemistry. So I'm not going to get too deep into that today, but Sean, my answer would be, if you're just doing a strict 24-hour fast, stick with the lemon water, stick with the straight water, or stick with like a ginger tea, peppermint tea. Any one of those would be fine. But I would absolutely go with ginger over peppermint tea, since peppermint can be cooling and ginger tea is heating, and you want heating during detoxification. All right, hopefully that helps. Linda's up next. Thank you. I'm a 69-year-old, 135-pound woman in great health until I found out in January that I have Hashimoto's. I've been fasting 18/6. There's the 18/6. We were just talking about that, Linda. Can that hinder the healing of the thyroid? The answer is yes. I'm also following a ketogenic diet. Surprise, and taking Armour Thyroid. All right, we just talked about this. Linda, I mean, this happens. It happens. You know, I wish I could control what's spoken out there. So here's the thing. All of the health people out there, the health coaches, they all mean well. They really do. They do. But the problem is the information isn't right. It's not right? Because what they should say is an 18/6 or a 6/18 fast is good for these types of people and not these. Or if you're going to do I keep messing this up, an 18/6 or a 16/8 fast, you'll want to make sure that you run your hormone levels. That's the bottom line, so without a doubt. For you already know you have Hashimoto's. I would run the thyroid adrenal hormone panel to look at cortisol, or I would definitely run the organic acids test to see if there's any gut-based permeability with candida overgrowth, or you can run a stool test too for bacterial overgrowth. Or if you want, just complete the CBO protocol, finish up with the CBO finisher to seal up the gut wall, and then we're going to begin. We need some hard numbers, right? So then what we'll do is we'll begin to heal the body. We'll most likely use Adrenal Soothe at a 1-1-2s, one at breakfast, one at lunch, two at dinner. So we essentially fix the gut, right? Rebalance the adrenals, stop doing the 18/6, get back into a healthier nutrition plan where you tell your body you're not starving for 18 hours of the day, only eating 6 hours of the day, and you'll get well. And we do that in my practice every day. Of course, we'll work with you if you want the exact details, but that's enough information even right there to get started. So hopefully that helps nourish your body. Tell your body it's not starving. Get that thyroid functioning well again. All right, and immune system, not just the thyroid, but the immune system. All right, Erica's up next. Can I take the Candida and gut protocol if I'm breastfeeding? All right, so this came in on May 17th. Of course, we're a little bit behind. I've mentioned that before. So great question to ask at cabralsupportgroup.com. Obviously, you don't want an answer 3 months later, right? You want an answer that day. Feel free to ask that to my support team at cabralsupportgroup.com. And the answer is you will not do the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol, but you can use the clean gut probiotic, and you can, of course, use the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol. All right. Hopefully that helps, Erica. Let's go to Jessica next. Hi, I'm wondering if you know if certain insurance providers will reimburse for lab tests. Also, how do your lab tests and prices compare to those I'd get from my primary care doctor? Lastly, if I could only purchase 2 lab tests, what would you recommend? All right, Jessica. Some people can use their FlexPay to pay for labs. We're not able to do that. We can't run insurance. We're not a medical practice. I let people know that always up front. We don't practice medicine. That's not a legal thing that we can do. What we do is we practice natural health, right? We don't practice pharmaceutical base. We don't bill insurance. We don't talk to people about dis-ease. We talk to people about underlying imbalances, which then can lead to dis-ease or already have led to dis-ease in the body. So how do lab tests compare? Well, literally, we give you the lab test at cost, and we're adding the consultation with that. So that's the fairest thing that we can think to do. So we do that. And of course, I read over all the labs, give my recommendations as well. And also that your primary care doctor would never run an organic acids test, a hair tissue mineral analysis. They would never run a 24-hour cortisol. They would most likely not run an omega-3 test. They wouldn't run a hair tissue mineral analysis with the heavy metal. They probably wouldn't run telomere testing. They wouldn't run a genetic test. They wouldn't run any of these tests. Why? Because they don't diagnose disease. Conventional medicine waits for you to get a disease, and then they give you a pharmaceutical drug. I mean, no disrespect, but that's what the medical system is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, really, correct me if I'm wrong, because if you have an amazing doctor that does more than that, then that you hit the jackpot. You really did. Like, it's better than winning the lottery because they're helping you with your health overall. Medical doctors, they run your blood work once a year. If something's off, they say, let's wait and see, right? Let's wait and see where this goes. Or they put you on a pharmaceutical drug, and that's that. Do they talk to you about in-depth nutrition? Do they talk to you about nutritional supplements? No, they literally poo-poo on that. They really do. Like, there's no research behind that. Listen, if any medical doctor ever tells you there's no research behind nutrition or nutritional supplements, you just walk away. You say, appreciate your time. Thank you. I'm going to handle this on my own. And here's why. Because there are hundreds of thousands of clinical studies, as much as on pharmaceutical drugs with nutritional supplements and with nutrition, right? It's called nutrigenomics, right? We've studied all of these things. And so for a doctor to say that to you, it simply means they're basically saying this to you: I'm too busy, or I don't care enough to read the research on anything else besides pharmaceutical drugs. And again, I know that's harsh, but it's the truth. People need to be given multiple options, the pharmaceutical or the natural route. And if someone chooses the pharmaceutical, fine, like totally fine. No judgment by me. That was their life choice. And I'm okay with that, right? But people should at least be given an alternative, because there is an alternative, right? And as I always say, there's no alternative to alternative medicine, because you don't get better unless you use so-called alternative medicine, which, by the way, is the history of medicine, right? Pharmaceutical drugs are only 100 or so, 150 years old maximum. We're really 100 years old, right? So let's be careful what we talk about here. And if you can only purchase 2 lab tests, well, I don't know any of your symptoms, right? So there's a lot of lab tests you can run. But if you don't even know where to start, the starter kit, that's where to start. It's called the starter kit. And that's simply the organic acids test paired with the hair tissue mineral analysis, because you get to see all of your vitamins, whether they're deficient or not, all of your minerals, whether they're deficient or not, your heavy metals on the hair tissue mineral analysis, oxidizer rate. And you also get to look at a lot of your gut function, mitochondrial function, neurotransmitter function, liver function, ketone production, all of those things on the organic acids test. They're 2 amazing labs. We bundled them together to save you another $100. That's the place to start. Hopefully that helps. Chelsea's up next. Chelsea's asking, hi, Dr. Wall. I've become addicted to your podcast, and I want to thank you for educating us to become the best, healthiest versions of ourselves. I recently made some huge life changes, moving across the country, Boston to California, and have been really inspired to get my lifestyle on track. For years, I've struggled with binge eating, sugar addictions, pressure to drink on the weekends. My anxiety was high. My stress at work was awful with a 2-hour commute each way. Safe to say, after listening, I believe I have major gut, thyroid, adrenal issues. I also believe I have other production of yeast, frequent infections, nixed sugar in the bud, stay away from processed foods now, continue to exercise, get outside for balanced lifestyle. My question is to you, are there withdrawals in going through this process? I have frequent headaches and moodiness, sometimes low motivation. I feel the healthiest I've ever been, but at night I get pain in my neck and brain fog during the day. Does this relate to food intolerances now that my system is cleaning out? How long does it typically take to get these sort of issues under control? Thank you in advance. So this is a great question, because my opinion, due to the clinical environment that I'm in, differs than a lot of other people. I actually don't believe there should be a really long die-off process or detoxification-based process. 21 days maximum, that's it. If you do the 21-day Dr. Wall detox, you're going to maybe feel it for those first 5 to 7 days. But after that, you're probably going to feel great. You really are. And so, Chelsea, that's why I can tell you that whatever's going on right now, it's just that even though you're doing so many healthy things, that's the thing. It's like, so I get to work with all these amazing people in my practice, and so do my health coaches as well. Amazing people. And a lot of times they're doing like really great food and nutritional supplements. But the problem is this, it's just not right for them, right? They're great products, but just not right for them. Even a product as amazing as curcumin, right? As turmeric, or as some people like to pronounce turmeric or turmeric. There's so many fun pronunciations to that word. Even a great product like that, it's not great for everyone. Why? Because it can lower blood sugar. And if you're someone that's more hypoglycemic and you take turmeric or curcumin, it could lower your blood sugar. So even the best products sometimes don't work for some people. And then also, a lot of people, where they start to go more plant-based, they did it too quickly and they reduced their protein sometimes in half, and that wasn't enough for them, or at least not initially. Or they're going too long without eating, as we've heard about earlier today on the intermittent fasting. Or they've upped their exercise and now they need more carbohydrates. So I can't tell you exactly what's going on with you, but for sure, you're taking something that's leading to the brain fog, or your cortisol levels now are on the lower side and you're getting the brain fog. There's many reasons. It could be electrolyte imbalance. Your B vitamins may have become depleted. Now you're feeling it based on all things going on. Then also the stress around moving from Boston to California, which, by the way, I commend. I think that's fantastic. I love Boston. Like, I'm a true Bostonian. I've been here for about half my life, and then the other half, basically, I was in Providence, Rhode Island, and then I grew up in Medford, Massachusetts. So I've always lived around Boston, and I love it. But I totally understand January through April, not ideal to be here. So I think that you're going to enjoy that California nice weather and lifestyle, and it will serve you in the long run. But something's out of balance right now. And so you certainly could run a food sensitivity test. You could run an organic acids test, but you may really want to run a hair tissue mineral analysis as well. So, I mean, if I can make my recommendation, and again, I don't know where your finances are and all of those things, and I never like to push this on anyone, but if you were to run the Big Five, like the Big Five is the answer. And I just wish, I'm optimistic, that one day maybe health insurance will cover all those. Because what happens is when you run the Big Five, you learn about all the different areas of your body. And when you understand that, when you look at that, you understand what could go wrong in the future or why it is you feel the way that you feel today. And if health insurance understood this, they could save so much money on follow-up appointments, on major surgeries, on pharmaceutical drugs, and all these things that they have to spend. So that's why, I mean, the Big Five is really where it's at. But, what's the issue with the Big Five? Well, it's cost. Even though we give people like $400 off the Big Five, it's either $300 or $400 off, there's still an expense to it, right? Because they're lab tests. And they're not our labs, by the way. We had to pay for them. I think a lot of people don't understand that. They're not our labs. We don't own a lab company. We don't own any lab companies, nor will we ever own any lab companies. We use the best of the best. And then what we do is we bring them to our fulfillment house. I sign off on them because you have to have a doctor, medical doctor, or naturopathic doctor, sign off on them, or osteopathic doctor. And then we ship them to people. That's it. And then they take them right at home and they mail them in. I read over all of the results. My health practitioners on my team read over the results. We talk about best recommendations for you. And then you get a plan. Like, it's amazing. Like, this is the future. People don't understand. This is the future of medicine, and it's happening right now, right? But it's natural medicine. I don't want to confuse that with conventional medicine. Conventional medicine will always exist. But if you want to get well, this is it. This is how I got well 20 years ago. I mean, it really is. I mean, I was sick 20 years ago. I didn't even get well 20 years ago. The way I got well a little over 10 years ago was that I was introduced to this. And when I was introduced to it, it changed my life. Because now I had data. I had data on what was in balance. So I didn't have to... Before, it was like just throwing a dart at a dartboard blindfolded. I didn't know. I knew that, like, I had to do something. I knew there was a dartboard, something to go after, but I didn't know what. I didn't know where to point. So I just did like 30 nutritional supplements at a time. I would experiment with a lot of things. Who knew what was working, right? Something was working, something was not working. But this would have saved me a lot of time and money in the long run. But anyway, that's my recommendation, Chelsea. All right. Suzanne's up next. Suzanne will be our last question. I would love to take several of the tests you offer, but I live in Spain. Do you ship to Spain, or when do you think you'll start shipping to Spain? Thank you in advance. All right, Suzanne. So we'll be shipping this fall. So absolutely, we are actually changing our fulfillment company in mid-September, and everyone out there is going to see a night and day fulfillment service difference. People in Australia will get their package in a week. People in Europe, probably about the same, maybe even a little quicker. People in the United States will get their package within 2 to 3 days. You order by 6 p.m. Eastern, it ships that same day. I mean, this is the level that we're working with. We're working with one of the biggest fulfillment and logistics companies in the world. We're shocked that they want to work with us, but they do. And, it's going to cost us a lot more money on my end. But the truth is, I just think it's worth it. I really do. I'm not in this to try to make all of this money. That's not what it's about. I'm in this to provide the highest level of functional medicine that I can. And that means people need their products within a week, not within 2 weeks. So that's my commitment to you. And once we master it for Australia, Canada, the UK, and the US like we're doing now, then we'll start shipping to Spain and Europe later this fall, without a doubt. But I will announce that. Okay, let me do one more question quick. So, hi, I don't like eating fruits and vegetables. Would the fruit and vegetable supplement, your daily fruit and vegetable supplement, work as a replacement for fruits and vegetables for me? So, a couple things about that. One is it's absolutely going to work as a 3 to 5 serving fruits and vegetables every day. You get all of the phytonutrients of that. That means you get all of the antioxidants, you get the ORAC capacity, your body's ability to squelch free radicals in your body. So you get that, and it's absolutely incredible. It's 22 organic fruits and vegetables. I use it every day. I put a little bit in my daughter's smoothies or their smoothie bowls, their acai bowls. My wife uses it. It's part of the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol. Remember, there's only 3 products in the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol that I believe every human should be using. Now, there's more after that, but if you're not using the daily nutritional support or the daily activated multivitamin and the daily fruit and vegetable blend, that's the best of functional medicine, the best of whole food medicine, right? And then the daily probiotic support for good gut health. So here's the deal, though. The daily fruit and vegetable blend every day, whether you're eating vegetables or not, I believe people should use it. It's going to keep them healthier. There's no doubt about that. It's 22 organic fruits and vegetables. And it's a variety. Most people don't eat the variety. But the other thing is you're not getting the fiber from it. So remember, we take everything out. We juice those vegetables, and then we dehydrate the powder, and that's where you get the powder from. So you're missing the vegetables. So, William, what I would like to do is I would like you to use that product. If you're not eating any, then do it twice a day for sure. But what I would like you to do is ideally have any vegetable, any fruit that you would like. Just pick one so that you start to get the whole food enzymes, and then you get the fiber from that as well. That's my recommendation. Hopefully that helps. And I really do appreciate each one of you tuning in for the Cabral Concept House Calls. Enjoy answering your questions. And again, thank you once again for being part of this community. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.